Excellent. So, welcome, Catherine King.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for hosting us at your brand new lab.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me.
So for anybody that doesn't know you, could you just give us a bit of an introduction about yourself, first of all, and then kind of Life Cells itself, if that's okay?
No problem. So my name's Catherine. I'm the founder of Life Cells NI. Here, we're based in County Derry, Londonderry.
Okay.
And basically what we are doing is the core part of the business is cord blood cells.
Okay.
And then we're looking out to eventually branching out to adult cell storage.
Okay.
But the facility here itself, we will be renting out to the likes of life sciences, to universities, to health trusts. We have a clean room there as well, and a lovely storage facility behind us.
Okay, so not an overnight thing, I wouldn't imagine, to create something like this. So
definitely not.
Can you take us back to what first kind of brought you into this world? So I take it you didn't start one day and say, do you know what, I'm going to create a...
do stem cells.
do stem cells.
Mad scientist. No, so my background, I love science. Like when I was doing A-levels, GCSEs, I love science. So I went to University of Ulster in Korea and done biomedical sciences. And that's kind of where my love of stem cells ignited. It was like, the more you looked into it, you were like, when you seen the possibilities, you were like, why is nobody kind of doing this? And I tried to do it in 2015, but I don't think the economy or Northern Ireland was ready for it. And then COVID happened.
Yep.
And I thought, you know what, I'm going to go again, give it a go, and we'll see how we go. And it kind of just took off from there.
So all in, whenever you're saying, so 2015 was the idea initially.
Yeah.
But when did you actually then start going, right, okay, do you know what? I'm actually going to give this a go. So how long has it taken to get to this point? Because I don't think people appreciate maybe how long it takes to get an idea like this from start to finish.
Definitely not. Because you have to take into consideration, the need and the solution and what you need to get there, who you need in your team to get there, and it takes getting the right people as well, investor-wise. And I come from, I'm not good at maths. And I was just like, I need somebody who's going to help me with numbers, and that's where I came and approached Toast as well in 2022 and annoyed them for how many years. So it takes a big team to kind of get where we are, and we had Kevin too, one of our investors, who's a builder. He brought the vision to life as well. So there were so many different backgrounds came in to get to where we are.
Yeah, something like this does require a whole lot of different specialisms. As you say, it's not necessarily numbers, but you need somebody to assist you with that, and then building's the same. But at what point did the fascination, so you started obviously science, A-levels and university,
yeah.
But at what point were you like, right, I'm going to give this business a go? So was that like 2021 after COVID, or? It
would have been 2022, yeah.
2022, okay. 2022
after COVID, I was sitting and you could see the need, especially after COVID and people were sick and things like that, and you were like, could cells do something with personalised medicine there? Could it help, a treatment with things like that? And the more you look back into it and you look at what you previously looked at, how can cell therapy help certain blood cancers? How can cell therapy move forward treatment? Who could you help? The likes of the trust, and you could see the likes of the universities and things like that sending samples to England. So it wasn't just a whole cellular level, there was a storage or part there as well. So I was like, do you know what? Northern Ireland could really be a hub for all this to help drive forward innovation. And I was like, why not me? Why am I sitting here waiting on someone else to start it? Let's get the ball rolling and get up and running.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of courage. Maybe people don't fully understand. So how do you kind of find that to actually go, right, no, it could be me?
I just think it's a passion. When you sit and you look at the amount of young people who are passing away at the minute, and if you've had family members who've passed away young, and you sit and think, could a small biological sample sitting in a freezer in the middle of Irvington save somebody's life, save that family member's life? And I think that really drives forward the passion too, thinking how you can help families and how you can help drive forward medicine. Give somebody there tomorrow. Why can't it be us?
Just take us through the possibilities, in kind of broadly simple terms. What is potentially possible from it?
There's so many clinical trials at the minute. Blood cancers, I've said, is currently being treated by cell therapy, but there's so many. So that's where you'd love to see the future of medicine going. Like, there's a lot of research in diabetes. There's research in going into dementia. There's the possibilities are endless.
But so would you consider this kind of the future, a seriously significant part of future medicine?
Personalised medicine definitely has a big spotlight on it at the minute, which is exciting.
Do you have a sense of pride that you have been able to achieve what you've been able to achieve?
Definitely. I think hopefully it's never needed, but if you ever have to help our first family member or first patient that stored their cells, I think it'll be a big, proud moment.
Yeah.
But playing a part in this and helping, life cells help any facility or any hospital or patient or family, definitely it's a proud moment.
And also, it is the first in Ireland, I think. So, you've actually literally brought this as a first in Ireland.
I know.
And that's
it's mad. It's mad.
But I mean, it must fill you with a certain sense of pride, and obviously it's early stage in what's possible.
Yeah.
But it is actually up and running and operational.
Yeah. So we're currently waiting on getting our HTA license, which is a Human Tissue Authority license. Okay. And that will allow us then to store cells here in the lab in Ermington. And once we get that, we want to look forward to, helping the likes of the trusts and the universities rent the lab, rent the clean room. But we also want to go down a MHRA pathway. So we want to open up the clinical trials and bring companies here to Northern Ireland to open up different types of personalised medicine treatments.
Okay, excellent.
It's a goal.
And just, you touched on it earlier about the kind of team that's involved there. Obviously, you had to go through an investment round to do this. You didn't have the capital just sitting around.
Yeah.
So can you kind of give us an insight as to how difficult, hard a journey that is?
You will get a good couple of no's, definitely. But the trick is, don't let it dishearten you. If you have something that you believe is going to work, you just keep going. And it doesn't necessarily mean they don't believe in the idea, it's just they're not the right fit. We've sat in front of a good couple of investors and I've spoke to them, and they've never not said, oh, this is a bad idea, it's crap or whatever, but it's just I don't think it's the right fit, I don't know how I can help you. And then in February last year, we sat in front of a group of investors here in the AMP in Ermington, Ryan Williams, Kevin Mackin, Clarendon, Stuart Gaffkin. They represented the co-fund and a lot of other private investors. And that really was the driving force after that. It was people who seen the vision and believed in the idea. And I think everybody brings their own bit of uniqueness as well. And you can always go and get that help. So it was the right time. Yeah,
like you say, it's not always just about the money, and so it's what else that comes with that, like the advice and the kind of the support.
Definitely.
through the journey, and really they have been kind of instrumental in bringing that forward.
Yeah, and been very lucky.
And so that's what you're saying. Sometimes it's look, I don't get it. I don't know how I can support you. I don't know what I can bring.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily letting it dishearten you. It's just not the right fit for that person.
Exactly. Just keep going.
How tough is it though? And be honest. How tough is it?
It's very tough. There's days you go, it's not going to happen, and then you kind of fight with yourself internally. You're like, is it worth going forward? Is it worth is it not a good idea? But then you have the good days and the bad days, and then when you think about why you're doing it and who you can help, that's the driving force.
Yeah, but it must be very difficult, like you're saying, you have days where you start to question.
Yeah. Is it right? But you know yourself, if there's days I spoke to you and I was like, my God, this is never going to happen. How are we going to? And then every investor looks for different information, and that's where the numbers come in again, like cash flow, cap tables. They want to see as well, not just the vision, but they want to make sure that you understand the cash flow and where everything needs implemented, which again is another ball game, but you need to cover everything.
And how tough is that? Because obviously you come from a science background, and then you're being thrown into a world about not just the finance and the cap tables and the cash flows, but then the building works and the systems and things like that. So how do you find that as trying to wear so many different hats as a founder?
It can be hard, but at the same time it was great. It was a great learning curve, but you kind of just have to adapt as they come to you. That's the only thing as I said, Kevin was a great help with the build work, but when it came to the clean room there, we had to kind of work with them and give them a HTA legislation, and they came to me for a lot of answers. So we worked quite well in tandem, myself, the clean room, and Kevin. So when we did come up against certain difficulties, there was always somebody there to kind of give you advice, which was great.
But that support is invaluable. You know, people who kind of just go, right, send us the legislation, we'll have a look and see, right, how does this work, how does that work?
Yeah, definitely.
That's unbelievable. But in relation to, so you raised what, 590 pre-seed?
Yep.
Is it challenging getting the technical side of it through to investors? Like, did they get that part of it?
They did. Like, no investor wants to sit and listen to a lecture of stem cells. As long as you can get what the issue is, the solution, how it's going to be met, and you have the right team to drive it forward, I found that was very, it was great. It helped the case. But again, it came down to the numbers. The two of them just worked hand in hand, and that's what gave me the confidence to kind of talk to the investors, because when we had worked on it and went through the cash flow and the cap table, I could answer everything confidently, knowing that what I'm giving you and what I'm telling you is right.
Mm-hmm. And see that confidence to actually do that. So you're obviously, there's in this field, there's not that many women, and there's certainly not that many women on the business end of it.
Yeah.
So how did you manage to get the confidence and everything to actually bring that? Because it is an unbelievable achievement that you've done there.
Thank you. I think it's just the passion. That's what's driving me. It's not, the fear of, I don't even look at it as if there's not many women in this field. I think it's just the outcome, what it can be, where we want to take it, and who we can help along the way.
Yeah.
That's just the main goal.
And, so from the point of view of, where you've actually established it as well is obviously not, there are areas that are, specialise in science innovation and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the Northwest not yet isn't known for that. So not only have you brought it to an area that isn't, all the different things that you've achieved along the way. Yeah. Like, you've managed to get through so many barriers to actually do that, and then
keep it at home.
Keep it at home.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting. Definitely, it was great. Like I'd always said, I was always adamant. I want to keep it at home. I don't want to move to another big and up and coming area. I just want to keep it at home, have something for the Northwest, and we're only a couple of minutes from the hospital too, so it's great in that respect.
Yeah. And listen, although it's very nice to kind of talk about all the successes and stuff like that, but as a kind of founder and a business owner, and particularly with how complex and difficult this has been, what's the hardest call you've had to make so far?
I think it's not pushing or cutting corners. I think I would rather explain why it took us so long rather than explaining we've compromised a sample. And I think, sitting, looking at quality and making sure you hit every regulation and you have the right team behind you, it's time. Time can be a big restrictor, and things can go wrong. Like, we've had machinery that's come and it's been faulty or damaged, and that's delayed us months on end, but you just have to keep driving forward. And
you've obviously had to adapt to a lot of different changes, so is that frustrating?
It can be, but again, I think with my previous roles in life sciences, you're used to things adapting and changing and protocols changing all the time, so it's not anything out of the the norm, which is good. So no, it's fine. You just keep going. You roll with the punches.
Yeah. There's nothing, and like business in general is like that. But even in this sector particularly, it seems to be. Obviously you were saying earlier about machines being damaged and dropped, and you just can't account for that. There's no planning that you can do that will change that. Do people need to appreciate that sometimes you can plan and with the best will in the world, you just have to be able to adapt.
Yeah. Things happen out of your control all the time. It's the same in any business, and I think there's no point dwelling on it or freaking out over it. You just have to keep going and just get it sorted and keep rolling.
I know you can keep things moving. Don't worry. I know you can do that. So, in relation to where you are now, so what's the next milestone from here? So, what's the what's the path? So obviously the lab's operational and ready to go. Your HTA license you mentioned, which is coming soon. But then from there, it's just kind of
moving forward. So it would be cord blood. So the basis of the business will be cord blood, getting the word out there. But as well, you know, we have a lot of interest from industry and from private sector, the universities who want to come and use the facility for research, but also the clean room, and then storing samples as well here in our freezers. But you know, we want to broaden out the cells and the tissue samples that we work with, and we want to bring in clinical trials. We want to bring in research from all over, whether it be Europe or America, wherever. And I think then the next step would be MHRA status. We'll work towards it as well, and start driving forward that personalised medicine pathway. Okay.
And what's the kind of capacity here that you can do? So is there a limit to how much you can do?
No, we've already looked at potential expansion. So if we do really get busy, there's somewhere that we can branch out to, which is exciting. We're getting a lot of inquiries, so upwards and onwards, hopefully.
Upwards and onwards, and your preference is still to keep it.
We're keeping it here.
Keeping it here. Has to stay here.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the actual, so we touched about in relation to the investors. In terms of the numbers, how difficult was it to kind of get into that world and then see, you know, how it would actually work? So was it difficult to put together the business case for it?
I know, like when I approached you, our first meeting was like, what do you need? We sat in a boardroom for how long, and we looked through, you know, what do you need? Where are you looking to go? What's your supplies? Go and get this and come back and get 3 quotes. So the first couple of months was really sitting, ringing, getting multiple quotes, narrowing that down, looking at the cash flow, looking at rent, looking at your utilities, what do you need? But obviously that changes as your idea changes and expands. So we've had to chop and change it a few times, but it was hard at the start. And then whenever yourself and Stephen sat down and kind of explained everything to me, it clicked then kind of. But I still get stages as we go on throughout the investment process where you're like, oh my God, but then I'm just going to annoy you and it's fine.
But that, you know, genuinely it is what it is there for. It's, you know, listen, right, what about this part and how does that work and whatever, and then you kind of get a bit of reassurance. And I'm sure it's no different from the construction side and then from Ryan's side as well. You know,
definitely.
Ryan obviously has his own businesses, so he's well used to kind of, don't worry about that. See that, you need to really focus on that.
Definitely, and I think that's really invaluable as well. Whenever you have somebody that you can go to and say, look, I don't know what we're doing, or can I have a bit of advice? And the door is always open. Yep. Like I could text, you know, one of the investors, Ryan or Kevin, now at maybe 10 o'clock at night, and they're like, right, this is the crack bud, this is what we're doing, or this is what you do. And there's no pressure at all. Yeah. And I think that's what helps the ball go smoothly as well, because if you were always panicking or you felt stressed, I think it would be really hard. But there's none of that. It's so supportive, and Clarendon's the same. Like Co-Fund, you could reach out to Stuart if you needed a bit of help, and he comes back to you straight away, which is great. Yeah. And like, how valuable has been? Obviously, you're based in them and the city, so how invaluable has that been? Just to be kind of part of, I suppose, what are other entrepreneurial businesses that are getting started. So how useful has that been? I know, is Jennifer you would talk to quite a bit? Yeah, Jennifer's part of the team as well. Jennifer's great. She's one of our investors, and we would have like one-to-ones every so often, like, and it's invaluable. Like we had a meeting there, was it last week, and she kind of, if you have any questions about sales or growth, Jennifer's always there to kind of big you up or listen to you if you have your bad days where you're stressed out, but thank God there's not too many of them. But yeah, there's always somebody you can go to, and all the other companies in here too are great. Like you can always chat to them. There's always events on and here too. It's a real pinch me moment where you're going, you have that ecosystem at your door, you just walk out and chat to somebody.
Yeah. No, it must be really, really helpful, because there, like you said, there are days where you're like, I don't know, this is going to work, and keep going or whatever. And sometimes all it is a conversation, and just be like, no, hold on, that's actually not as bad as you think it is. It's actually like this. Yeah. And you kind of reinvigorates you to kind of go, all right, okay, and that's fine. Yeah. So I can kind of see, you know, how valuable the AMP is in general for businesses, but more specifically yours. So
massively, yeah.
It's great that it's here.
I know, it's amazing, because you could be somebody with an idea and you don't know who to go to. Like at the start, before I was introduced to Ryan, there wasn't any advertising on who could help. Yes, you had, like, you could go to parts of Invest NI or the local enterprise NI, but there wasn't really the help, but you kind of needed that wee bit of extra support.
Yeah.
And then whenever I kind of fell on my Ryan, it just flew. It was great. Like, the support from everybody has been amazing.
Yeah, like, it's not something you can Google until you actually do this. It's literally like practical day-to-day support and guidance on it. So it is great for the city that it's here. In relation to, I know we've kind of touched on this again, is that how prepared should people be to change? Which is, like you saying, what does it look like from what you first envisaged to what it is now? Like, is it close?
It's changed, like, big time, but you have to be adaptive to change, because as you start expanding and you start to see your idea come to life, your ideas expand with it. And I think you have to be very, like, if you're planning the lab and you're going, well, this is the basis, and then you go, but hold on, I could do this and I could do that, and then you go and be like, with the investment we have in the cash flow, can we maybe add this and that in and be future proof for this? And it's always think ahead, always be 3 steps ahead of yourself.
Are there things that you obviously that you've had to cut out of it, where you're like, listen, it's a nice idea, but that's going to have to wait till phase 2, 3, whatever. So are there decisions you have to make like that?
So when we want to expand out into like adult cell storage, we wanted to have like maybe a wee room where someone could come in and sit, like a wee clinic room, and you're kind of thinking, right, hold on, let's just get the core part of the business nailed down, and then we'll run everything else alongside it as we start to expand, and we know that we're doing well and we have the use of the facility. But I didn't expect the industry side of things to take off so well, the same as the cord blood. So the two of them are kind of just going nicely hand in hand at the minute, which is great.
That's great. And like, in terms of employees wise, it's yourself and a few others?
Yeah, myself and Michael. So Michael, brought on Michael full time now, Dr. Conwell. So he's had the pleasure of working with me now for the next how many years? So it's just us two, but we will probably need to start looking at phlebotomists and things like that. So it could be a quick enough employment.
Okay. Once you actually
expansion.
Yeah. So thank you very much for taking the time, and we wish you nothing but success for the lab, and hopefully we'll be here for phase 2.
Yes, you will.